Meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thanks for coming, everybody. It's definitely not warm out anymore. Roll call, please.
Sandy Kufelt. Here. Chris O'Regan.
Here.
Tom Kruger.
He's absent, excused.
Artie Bryson.
Here.
Cindy Valentine here. Joanne Shirkey.
Here.
Mark Bouchard.
Here. Okay. Apologize for the voice. Been using it too much. I think too much ho-hoing. Bills payable.
I'll make a motion to approve the bills payable in the amount of $167,599.48.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any questions or anything?
I would like to add the electric bills look excessively high, and they are. There was a glitch when I paid all of the township electric bills in the DTE system on November 23rd, so every account was charged 5 times. So I had a Visa bill to the tune of $19,000. However, I called Edison and they did credit all that back, and they mailed out checks for each of those accounts that we should have by the end of the week.
So we're getting checks and not a credit.
Correct. They said they couldn't credit the Visa, they had to mail checks back.
How much was it? 19,000?
That's how much the Visa bill was, yeah. Most of it being DT, some of it Sumco.
Well, that's good.
Any other questions or comments?
Cindy, can I get a brief explanation on Department 721, the planning? We have professional fees in the amount of $2,105. Giffords and Webster?
Yeah, let me pull the bill.
That's our planner,
Yeah.
but she can, while she's doing it, we do pay him a monthly retainer, and then based on business as far as people coming to the planning commission and et cetera, for building and stuff, he bills accordingly to that also, but we can get you a detail.
Didn't they just change names?
Giffords Webster.
GIFF.
There. Foster.
And our building department has been very busy. New projects coming, which is a good thing.
What was the name it used to be under them?
Used to be clear zoning.
Clear zoning, yeah, clear zoning.
So really, it's for my own clarification because I'm so new. Can I expect to see this on a monthly basis, a quarterly basis, or an annual basis?
It will,
Monthly.
monthly. So he said, basically the retainer is $750, and but then he's got other things that he worked on.
This
So
is what comes in front of the planning commission.
yeah,
The Parks and Recs probably.
yeah, they've been working on the Parks and Rec too as plan, and that was something different, which we did approve as a board. Any
Thank you.
Yep. Any other questions or? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Sandy Kufelt. Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, we have the presentation of our auditors, Stewart, Beauvais Whipple, for our audit report, and Paul Bailey's here, I think.
Hi, Paul.
Okay, but I think everybody got a copy of their audit report, and I also handed out a brief outline that we'll go through rather than the audit report. Let me kind of just go through how this worked this year. Because we assisted the township during the 2016 year considerably changed their accounting system, we were technically no longer what they call independent to do your audit. So you actually contracted with another CPA firm. We helped you pull the whole audit report together. We helped your staff get ready for it. We were here on site while the audit was going on, answering a lot of the questions and so forth. And they give the opinion. It's actually their opinion. I'll refer to it when we get going along. But I was just here to give you the highlights of how it worked. Everything went very well. We'll go through the number section. And I guess if you kind of follow through on just the outline, and then it refers to the bigger binder if you want more detail as we go along. Again, everything went very well during your audit report. One of the first things in the audit report is they're really your financial statements, and there's an audit opinion by Beals, Carnarnia and Company. That's the CPA firm that actually came out and did the audit. They gave you what they call an unmodified or clean opinion. That's what you're striving for. You have received that in the past, but we'll talk about recommendations and so forth as we get along there. The next couple items I'm not going to spend a lot of time with. There's really two sets of financial statements in your audit report. There's kind of the commercial way to look at Clay Township, and there's the traditional way municipalities have always reported. The Roman numeral 2 and 3 kind of talks more on the commercial set of financial statements, and that adds the value of the buildings and everything in there. We'll just concentrate on the traditional way, probably in the way you budget tonight. Roman numeral 4 there, it says fund financial statements, general fund. Your balance sheet, your general fund had assets as of June 30th, 2016 of $2,582,104. You had liabilities of $213,411. What they call deferred inflow of resources, which is money that's going to come into you, but it's just not there, not in quick enough to pay bills, of $88,771, which left a total fund balance or carry forward into the current year of $2,279,922. And you can see how that relates to the 2015 numbers right there next to it. Item 2 there is something called the statement of revenues, expenses, or changes in fund balance, or the operating statement. This year, your general fund took in $1,501,494. You spent $1,486,222. You had what they call other financing uses of $98,000, which is basically transfers to other funds of $98,738. You had to transfer $64,000 this year to set up a perpetual care fund. You had collected perpetual care fees for a number of years, but it had never been segregated, and we had in the past made a recommendation that it should be. You went back and tried to estimate how much that was and set aside $64,000, as well as you transferred $34,000 to your Colonial Road Assessment Fund. With that taken into account, your general fund actually had expenses over revenues of $83,466 when you take the transfers into account. Without that, you would have been slightly positive. There's a couple graphs attached to this. If you turn to page 5, what we try to do is just give you a pie graph on where the revenues come from. And as usual, you'll see this year about 48% of your dollars came from intergovernmental revenues or state shared revenue, basically half your general fund budget. The next largest piece there this year was licenses and permits, charges for service, or taxes, taxes 26% there, and that's exactly what it was the year before. This stays pretty consistent, you can see, from year to year. 26% in taxes, intergovernmental around 40%, charges for services 8 or 9%. Very consistent from year to year of where the dollars actually come from to pay your bills. Page 6 kind of just breaks your general fund down by where the expenditures go. By major category. These categories are determined by the Michigan Department of Treasury. They publish a very elaborate chart of accounts that the township adopted a year ago. This is the first year that you've actually totally utilized it. That's why it's not a comparative. Your accounting system changed drastically, so we're not showing a 15 pie chart here because it would be drastically different from year to year, so it really isn't comparative. This year, you spent what they call 63% on general government. That includes a lot of things. It includes the assessor, supervisor, clerk, treasurer, a lot of different functions. I caution when you compare one municipality to another, be careful because you have a separate police and fire fund. A lot of municipalities have a police and fire fund within the general fund, so the general government may be 30% of their budget. but you have a separate fund that just handles the police and fire department, and we'll kind of talk about that with the next pie graph there. Page 7 just kind of takes a look at the expenses for all the funds of the township. This year, you spent about 47% or 47 cents of every dollar on public safety, police, fire, public inspection, things like that. So almost half of your budget goes towards public safety. Public works is 12%. You can see the general government really shrinks when you take the whole township as a whole. That's 13%. Sewer there was 7. Your water, 14. Debt service accounted to about 5% of your budget and so forth. That's taken all the funds of the city and putting them together and kind of just giving you an idea of where the dollars actually goes. If we can turn back to page 2 of the outline, still. In addition to the general fund, you use a lot of other funds to keep track of things. And what we've tried to do up on the top is put in parentheses the page number in the larger report. If you want to get a lot more detail, you can turn to those pages and look. But you have about, 8 or 10 other funds. You'll see the fire fund, and I'm not going to read the revenues and expenditures there. The fire fund, you can see the police fund there. The police fund had expenditures quite a bit over revenues by $452,000, but a lot of that had to do with the construction of the new addition there. You can see the rubbish fund, drug enforcement fund, Oakland Cemetery, and it goes down each one of them. Again, also the Parks and Rec, you had a lot of capital outlay in that this year, so you had expenditures this year of $323,000 more than you took in. Number 2 just gives a fund balance of each of those funds, how much is left over. You'll see the fire fund had $98,234 at the end of the year, at June 30th, 2016. The police fund had a little over $1 million, $2,893. The rubbish, $237,908. The drug enforcement fund, $38,868. The drug forfeiture fund, $6,052. The Oakland Cemetery, $35,972. The street lighting fund, $1,379. The road canal maintenance fund, $94,118. The Parks and Rec fund, just under $89,999. And the program fund, $6,516. The new fund there, called the permanent fund, that's your perpetual care fund. Again, as people purchase lots to the cemetery, a portion of it goes into this perpetual care fund. It had never been separated from your cemetery fund in the past. Now it's a separate fund. You adopted one of our recommendations from the 2015 audit in 16 and set that fund up. On the top of page 3, there's also something called the debt service fund there, where you collect revenues and you pay bills, and you also have to subsidize a little bit from the general fund called the Colonial Road Assessment Fund. The money is specifically just designed to pay off the debt of service of that project. You also have water and sewer funds there. You bill and collect for water and sewer. The first part shows exactly how it's reported under our general accepted accounting principles, but some of the times that's a little bit, you got to really dig into it more. Number 1 if you turn into the major report, is how it reports, and you'll see the water fund shows it was good to $660,771. It shows the sewer fund was actually negative $347. But if you really look down on the cash results, this is really more of a realistic, if we were looking at your rates. Your water fund did do very well this year, $623,000 to the good, but your water fund was just positive by about $10,774 versus the $747. And a lot of it has to do with depreciation of the system, which is a paper number that doesn't require a cash outflow. On the top of page 4, people always say, well, if my water and sewer fund was like my general fund, how much money would I have available? And we kind of relate that to what they call working capital. If you took your current assets, cash, and receivables that'll come in a very, very short period of time, and you paid off all your bills, how much would you have left over? And in your water fund, you'd have about $1,719,000, and in your sewer fund, you'd have about $504,000. So those are kind of the numbers that you'd have to do a project in the short term. That's the number section of your audit report. In addition to giving an opinion, the audit firm when they come out, they not only look at the numbers, but they also take a look at the controls and issue something called the Independent Auditor's Report. This year, I'm happy to report they did not find any material weaknesses. As you know, when we took over your audit, we had a number of significant weaknesses in your system. That's part of the reason we couldn't audit it. We helped you come up with solutions, and we were involved in your accounting process last year. But this year, the auditors did not issue any material or significant weaknesses, which I commend you on.
Yeah, we had about 10 or some of them going back quite a number of years.
Right.
And now we have none.
The audit communication letter just kind of explains how the audit went. If you read through it, it's pretty boilerplate. It just said they had no problems doing the audit. They came out, they were here about a week, maybe a week, a little more than a week. There with your staff, and one of my staff came out quite a bit. But it just explains how if there was any problems, there were absolutely no problems whatsoever. Any questions I can answer on the process or any of the numbers? I can go into a lot more detail. I'm sure you have a long meeting tonight.
Financially, what shape is the township in?
I think you're in excellent financial condition.
Excellent.
Yes.
I know 3-4 years ago, our water department and sewer was hurting financially, and now it's pretty,
Yeah.
it's in okay shape.
Yeah, the water is just kind of, you broke even this year. You know, those are harder to, you really got to take a long-term look at the water and sewer
Right.
fund. Unfortunately, it's not like the general fund where, you know, it's what you take in one year versus what you spend. The water and sewer fund, you have to take a long-term approach of what you're going to need, you know, as far as replacing lines, pump stations, things like that. I do a lot of rate studies for municipalities, and, you know, to really get a, you know, you should take a look at it, you know, like a 5-year out, maybe even longer.
Right.
On those and to do it. But as you've seen, the bottom numbers, when you kind of looked on the cash basis, they were both positive. The water fund a lot more than the sewer, but the sewer was still positive.
Right. In the past few years, I mean, we reduced our debt as where we could. Do you have any suggestions for us going forward? What we could,
As far as, excuse me?
anything like that would help us out, like restructuring our debt anymore, or?
No, I don't, you know, I don't think we could note it any while we were going through.
Okay.
It would help.
Anyone on the board have any questions?
Nope. Pretty comprehensive.
Yep.
And I'd like to mention too, now Stewart, Beauvais, and Whipple are our independent auditors now for this current year.
Right.
So actually, this one, I kind of look like we went through 2 auditing firms, Paul's and then the second one. So,
Yeah, I told my staff they better not find anything. No.
yeah, no. And I'm needless to say, I'm very happy that we don't have any material weaknesses in our accounting systems. That was a big thing that I was striving for, and we obtained it. So, with your help, of course.
Appreciate it.
And
We enjoy working
actually
with you. We enjoy
Cindy's
working
and
with you.
Tom's and everybody on the board, we worked hard for that. So, any questions, anybody?
None here.
Okay. All right, thanks a lot, Paul.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to work with you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. Next, we have public comments. And I just want to read a quick statement. We have a lot of people here that probably, I'm assuming, that wants to address the board, but this is the public comments area. It's really, or part of the agenda. It's not a question and answer session with the board, and it's not really for deliberations with the board. You know, it's for your comments if you want to have any comments to our boards. So we do have a policy that I'm going to evoke. It's a 3-minute limit. And so anyone can, you know, to address the board will have 3 minutes to speak. So any public comments, come up, state your name and address, and
Just based off the audit, sir?
just anything.
My name's Mike Carey. I live at 124 Maple Avenue on Harson's Island. And as you know, obviously, last Monday we heard about the termination of Daryl DuPage as our chief. Obviously, we're all very upset over it. I have talked to interim chief Jerry Doan, a couple times this past week. And from my opinion, I support Interim Chief Doan at this time for the benefit of the people of Clay Township. There's no sense for us to make a big stand and come in and, you know, the only people that are going to suffer is the people of the township. My family, I have family in the township. A lot of us here obviously have family in the township. Daryl has family in the township. So, but I let Jerry know that we were going to stand behind Daryl in whoever path he wants to take. That's not really up to us. We're showing him the support that he deserves. He's put in 26 years in this township. And this township, fire-wise, would not be anywhere near what it is now, and the accomplishments that he's done throughout his tenure as chief. I've known Daryl for 20 years. He is a friend of mine. He was also my chief. But I think the township, and it's nothing against Jerry, absolutely not. I've known Jerry for 16 years, ever since he was a member of Harson's Island Fire. Nothing against him. I think he's very capable. However, like I telling you and everybody and him that we support Daryl in whatever he wants to do. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Next.
My name is Carl Billings. I live in Yale, Michigan, but some of you may know I've taught almost 500 responders in the county of St. Clair. I'm a Detroit firefighter. I have 25 years on there. I'm currently a sergeant. I've been a certified instructor for 15 years. I've been all over the country for training. I've never met a chief, ever, that has the passion and the heart of Daryl DuPage. I've been to both sides of the country. Been 186 different trainings. Never met another chief just like Daryl. So I think you guys made a tremendous mistake. And I know Jerry, he's a great guy, and I don't have nothing against Jerry, but I think you guys made a huge mistake.
Thank you.
I'll try to keep it less than 3 minutes. My name is Paul Atkinson, and I'm Daryl DuPage's son-in-law. Hang on a minute here. Daryl DuPage is my son-in-law, who I love, respect very much. I would like to give you a brief history, if you'd like, of the family history of the DuPages. J. DuPage's grandfather was a decorated World War II veteran in Europe. He came to the island over 50 years ago, was a long-time honorary member of the Lions Club, and he passed away in 2014 at the age of 90. His wife, Florence, still lives on the island, and she is 90 years old. Phil DuPage was the son of Jay, the father, and Daryl's father is a disabled veteran from the Vietnam War and a former POW. He also was a long-time island resident, a long-time voluntary fireman. He also held the chief position on the island on and off. Daryl DuPage, that's Phil's son, was raised on the island, and he was his 3 sons, Dylan, Spencer, and Logan. They have been raised on the island, and Logan is a 3rd-generation voluntary firefighter presently serving on the Clay Township Fire Department. Daryl don't like to talk too much to people about how he lost his leg, but I thought I'd just let you know how he lost it. Daryl lost his leg while he was trying to fix a company truck with a steering problem parked on the side of I-94. He was working on the driver's side of the truck with his leg outside the door when a pickup truck sideswiped his truck, threw Daryl into the traffic. Luckily, he was able to roll over underneath his truck, or he wouldn't be here today. His leg was pretty much torn up below the knee, and they had to amputate from the knee down. While in Henry Ford Hospital after the operation, He picked up a virus, and to stay ahead of the virus, they ended up taking more above his knee. He spent many days in pain before he healed, that leg healed. Daryl, though handicapped, is an unstoppable guy and is a very dedicated firefighter since he started in 1990. He was so dedicated he's almost lost his job several times with his lost his marriage, certainly. Now to the present, I am really, really upset with how he was let go of his job. The timing was terrible. A couple weeks before Christmas, a time when we usually are the most happiest, a time when we usually the most happiest, with no explanation except out the door. That is just rotten. I mean rotten. After 26 years of service, all we was told by the supervisor was that they're going in a different direction. Also in the newspaper, he is quoted as the chief. The chief is more than just putting out a fire. Daryl knows a hell of a lot more about the chief's job than putting out a fire. In closing, I'd like to quote from a neighbor's website on the island there. This guy wrote, "I'd rather have a tough one-legged SOB," only he didn't say SOB, he came up with the whole shot of it, "come to my door than someone that's going to pat me on the head and politically correct. What a mess you've made." He hit the nail right on the head. I think you'll have a tough time finding a replacement for Daryl DuPage. I think you will have a tough time finding a replacement to fill Daryl DuPage's boots. And I would encourage his firefighters to join the union for protection from those that fired Daryl. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Those are big boots.
Thanks, Paul. That was outstanding. Patrick Fian, 1500 South Channel, Harson's Island. I've known Daryl a long time, kind of an honorary uncle. I'm very proud of him. He's done everything that I think anybody could ever ask of him, both as a person and as a professional. From a professional standpoint, I've known him in my association with the Island Homeowners Association. He's been always supportive. He's been there whenever we needed him. I mean, just this last winter, when the county wasn't able to get to the ferry, there was Daryl out plowing the roads. I mean, that's Daryl. You know, a couple weeks ago, I sat here and listened to conversation going through Daryl's contract. He was given a new 3-year contract. And Artie, I remember you sitting there saying he did such a great job. You wish there was more money for him. That you were going to do everything you could to look through the budget to see if there was something that you could do for him in the future. And now it here's, you know, a couple of weeks later, and I'm wondering what happened. Anyways, I think Daryl's great. I have nothing against, you know, anybody else. That's not the issue. It's just that he's done a great job. And thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
Hi, my name is Belinda Sablowski. I'm one of the firefighters. I stand behind Daryl 100%. I haven't been with the department too long, 2 years, but what he's done for the department, you can't even dream of. What you did and what you said is unexplainable. You talk so good about Daryl, and then all of a sudden now he's not here for us. You said that we needed a leader. I'm sorry, that we needed a boss. Daryl's more than a boss. He's our friend, he's our leader, he's someone to be out there with us in the front line, not behind a desk. You've made a huge mistake. A bunch of us are gonna stand behind Daryl. And whatever becomes of it, becomes of it. But you have made a huge mistake.
Thank you.
name is Dave Danielson, 9211 Peters Road. I retired from Clay Township Fire after 24 years. I had the pleasure of 5 years working with Daryl and had to retire for medical reasons with my back from an accident that happened on the job. One thing I can say about Daryl, he has done more for this community, not just the department, more for this community. You may say he doesn't speak well with people or whatever. We all have our gruff little sides, especially when you disagree with something. But I'm gonna tell you what, you would not have a dive team. You would not have the equipment that you have. You would not have the savings. According to the budget, you just had a great big surplus for last year. What did you do wrong? You're not giving out the reasons. I understand it. It's personal. It's personnel problems, whatever it is. But I'm telling you, big, big mistake. I've been on many fires with that man. I've been in houses with that man. Been in a lot of medicals with that man. And I wish today that accident never happened in 2009 and I'd still be there, because I would still be there. Not now. Michelle.
Hi, my name's Pat Marlowe, on Harson's Island. You know, moreover, just what everybody said, I look at the courage of Daryl over the years and his service, and I'm looking at a whole nother picture. I'm looking at, these firefighters are saying they're gonna stand behind them. What about the firefighters in the future and the youngsters? When somebody devotes their entire, seems to me to devote their entire life and being to a community and a fire department and to be, and I guess maybe I'm looking for an inquiry of exactly how it went down or what have you, but when you just, you know, part ways with somebody and that's it, and, you know, most people in life and work and business and, you know, people that work for me and whatnot, we're reasonable. People make mistakes. People do things wrong. After so many things and so many warnings, you fire somebody. But there's a trail down that path of exactly what happened. You know, and there's documentation and there's this, or there's a big scandal that we don't know about again. Maybe that's what it is. But I'm guessing there's not a big scandal. And I think that, you know, without having a little bit more transparency, it's just not a fair thing for the future of this community. When you can work your entire life in a community for a department and then have them shut your door at, you know, 2 weeks before Christmas, it's just, I wonder what kind of community I'm living in sometimes and who's at the helm or who's in the wheel.
My name is Bernard Licata, 1825 South Channel Drive. From what I've heard tonight and information that I've learned over the past few days, I think, ladies and gentlemen, you owe your community a clean, clear explanation. I can't speak for them, but they're speaking for themselves.
Thank you.
My name is Marisa Shesty, and you'll excuse me for not coming up here, but I live in Edgewater in Algonac. And I wholeheartedly agree with what this gentleman just said. Daryl's paycheck is paid by the people that live in this community. And I think that it's incumbent upon the board to offer some kind of explanation as to why, after all these years of service, he was let go. Something that I've heard around town is that, you know, he made enemies. Well, to that I would say, I would venture to guess that many of you have also made enemies yet you still sit here. And I would also suggest that this is not a popularity contest. Something that I have taught my son from the time he could comprehend stuff is that it's, you know, we go through life and like I said, it's not a popularity contest. You go out, you do the very best that you can do, and when you lay your head on the pillow at night, you have to answer to yourself. And I hope that something will be forthcoming. Like I said, I think we have the right to know. And I hope that anyone who was in favor of Daryl's dismissal, I hope that when you put your head down on the shoulder at night, on the pillow at night, that you're able to sleep. And like everybody else in this room, I don't know who the new guy is coming in. Wouldn't know him if I fell over him. I have nothing against him. I just think that, like this other gentleman said, that if you want to have a community of dedicated firefighters, you have to treat them better than this. You have to let them know that there is something beyond 15, 20 years.
Thank you.
There's one thing that I forgot. Over the past couple of days in talking to folks, I've learned also that our firefighters earn $10 an hour. Less than $10 an hour. That's hardly minimum wage these days. And as a member of the community, I want a firefighter and a police officer that's enthused about his work, enthused about what he's doing, and is going to take care of business when it needs to be done. $10 an hour is stupid. Thank you very much.
My name's Jonathan Falk. I'm at 134 Eckfield, Algonac. I just like to take time to, however the outcome is with Chief DuPage, I'd like to thank him for his service, not to just the community, but to myself as well. I would not be where I am today without Chief DuPage. I started off as a cadet for a year, and every training that Chief DuPage could make, I could see him down there, and he was a huge he was an influence to me. Nothing more than seeing a guy down in turnout gear with one leg doing everything that we're doing. He would do it, and he'd do it to the best of our ability to prove, or to his ability to prove to us. That was huge for me as a role model. I'd also like to thank him for helping me with my firefighter 1 and 2. Without him, I wouldn't be able to pass that class. I just graduated high school in 2016. My last 2 years of high school, I would go down for 2 hours a day, and I'd sit with him getting school credits because that was a string he pulled for me because St. Clair County Tech couldn't do what I wanted to do. So I'd like to thank him for going above and beyond to make me what I am today, and I hope he's back.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Brenda Lee Hoover. I live at 6473 Benoit. I'm a Clay Township and Algonac firefighter, and I am here to show my support for Daryl because he does go above and beyond for all of us and the community. I personally had a house fire 8 years ago, so it just goes to show that, you know, everybody was right there where they needed to be. If Daryl did something illegal, so be it, and then it needs to be said. If not, then maybe he needed to be reprimanded and fix whatever was wrong because he's an amazing guy. He definitely needs and deserves the support that he gets from his firefighters in the community.
Thank you.
My name's Dustin. I've been on the department for about 8 months, and basically Daryl was the glue. I mean, he knew how to bring up morale, so morale is needed to keep employees around because, like someone else said, obviously the pay isn't right. So second month on the job, we get a call for a boat that flipped over with 12 people on. Daryl was off duty out on the water. He shows up on the South Channel in a dinghy and jumps in the water. I mean, who else does that? You know, so, you know, like someone else said, if you do something wrong, there's a series of events that happens. You're supposed to discipline and correct what was wrong, and nobody knows what happened. And I support Daryl. He's just a great guy. I've never met anyone with a heart like him, and he was a true leader. I've never had a leader like him before, so, and I worked for other departments, so thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Johnny. I used to be a firefighter here. I recently resigned about a month ago for reasons of my own. The young man that was up here that just was talking about being a cadet, it's the programs like that that keep the young out of trouble so that they're not at our station doing community service. He was headed down the wrong path. He was trying to get into a tech program to better himself, and they made him a shadow janitor. One of our guys went to the school and said, hey, why don't you come over to the fire department? We're going to start a cadet program. During that time, he not only studied firefighting, but he brought up his test scores and successfully completed Fire 1 and 2. This program was backed by Daryl. There's a number of other cadets that are your future firefighters for this community. I've got 26 years of experience pre-hospital EMS and fire. And I've seen a lot of departments and a lot of chiefs. And one of the things that drew me here was the training. The commitment from a chief who refused to sit down due to his disability, when he could have collected a check and said to hell with it. He did his time. He continued pushing forward, pushing his department forward with the SAFER grant, with the attempt to get the ALS transport to be more self-sufficient, to provide a service to the island that nobody else wants to do. So really the islanders here are at a potential of losing more than the mainland because of his dream and his vision to make sure that there was coverage all the way around for everybody. He brought an instructor from Detroit with years of experience in firefighting to train the firefighters here so that when they went into a house, they came out of that house. I've been on other part-time departments, and I'm sorry, but they were PODOC departments. The training was substandard. They were surround and drown. Their fire scores were extremely high. Their insurance, their fire score insurance was high. They were at a loss. So they didn't put into their fire service, they got higher fire scores, thus their insurance rates were higher. Here, he was proactive in training, building the department to give you guys a world-class, first-rate fire service, when actually you're on a budget of a third rate. $10 an hour, $8.50 at night. I make $30 an hour. You know how many times I turned down overtime to support this vision? I can't tell you how many times. You can ask them. My phone rang every night. No, I'm at Clay. What you did to Daryl was wrong, without an explanation. If he did a criminal offense, then he should be prosecuted for it. But to sit behind closed doors and not offer an explanation, you're wrong. I support that.
John Desmondrill, 7245 Flamingo. Yeah, I had a few things to say, but I think most of the people that already spoke painted you a pretty good picture of our fire department. I've been a homeowner in the township for just about 30 years, and I've seen the department really transform into one progressive department. And I just, as a taxpayer here in the township, I support Chief DuPage. Thank you.
My name is Mike Wilderman. I live on McDonald Street on Harson's Island. I'm not going to say anything about Daryl, everyone else already has. If we can't ask questions, get answers now, when can we get them?
I can't even ask him that.
couldn't hear that.
I can't even answer that right now.
Why is that? I'd like to ask each trustee if they were aware of this decision separately. Separately. I'd like to ask you, Mr. Borchardt, did you know about this?
Were they all present?
This is public comments. I'm sorry.
Why can't we ask questions and get answers?
Because this is public comments right now.
What means, where does it say we can't get answers? When can we get answers?
This is public comments right
When
now.
can we get answers? from
I am
our
not sure
questions?
yet.
You're not sure yet?
Right.
You run this,
Right.
you
and
run the
that's
township.
all I can say right now.
Who can give
That's
me
all I
that
can
answer
say.
then?
That's all I can say
I'd like
right
to
now.
know from each person their decision on this, because you said you had the whole board's whole decision. I'd like to know from each one. Why can't we get answers?
Public comments, I'm sorry.
So when can we question you and get an answer? When can we ask any of the trustees questions and get an answer?
When it's time.
When would... That doesn't really answer me.
It doesn't, I know that. That's all I can say right now.
When it's, I don't understand that.
That's all we can say right now.
Mr. Kruger, do you have anything to say?
Well, just board member comments will be coming up later on at the end of the agenda, and that'll be our chance to talk.
And one more thing I'd like to add, when you were at the meeting with the fire department Monday night, the same day that you released Daryl, it was very unprofessional for you to talk about Treasurer Kruger's medical conditions. There's HIPAA laws.
My name is Robert Wishart. I live on 4055 Green Drive, Harson's Island. A couple of points I'd like to make. Number one, I have nothing but the admiration of our fire department, the men involved in our fire department, the commitment and the dedication. The men, oh, and definitely the women. That being said, as members of that fire department, I realize the conditions that we all live in today. And I would like to say this, for all of you, many of you will wind up someday perhaps standing alone. You know how important it is as members of your unit and how you have stood presently and in the past with the leadership and the support of Daryl DuPage. I would like to just comment that unity, and I'll use that word, that unity involved in that unit of brotherhood under you is a precious gift that we have here in America. And what it can prevent is at times we can wind up with a situation where we have people elected, our officials, which are unresponsive. Well, there are alternatives. And I hope you look and feel dedicated to a commitment to unify yourselves. And I strongly support you in that effort. The terminology is the unification of your effort. As a brotherhood, stand unified. And I hope you can do that, and I hope you will be successful in a movement to legally unify you as a unit. Vote union.
Fire department members.
You gotta come up to the,
The members
sorry,
of our
can I get your
fire
name?
department.
Can I get your name,
I'm sorry.
please?
My name is Mark Platt. I live at 6655 Green Drive, Parsons
you.
Island. The members of our fire department do more than just fight fires. They're very involved in our community. They're involved with the needs of people in our community, helping with other projects like wheelchair ramps, things like that. As far as Daryl's involvement, if he's been a leader in our community, which he has, he's got a lot of followers on his department. They look to him for leadership. If Daryl goes down and we take him out of command, what happens to his followers? Do they follow down the same path? And then we have no fire department? You know, do they give up?
They bring in somebody else.
We support Daryl in his efforts as chief. And we support our fire department. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Marty McGrath. Daryl's my best friend. I find it kind of funny that back in October, the old board gave Daryl a contract for 3 years, gave a pay raise, and like they talked about, wanted to find him more money. Supervisor Bryson said. Then we get a new board. 43% of this board has got less than 6 weeks on the job. Never been in government before, 3 of you. But you can take a guy that's been there 26 years and discharge him 13 days before Christmas. And it kind of reminds me back, I think it was late 70s, early 80s. There was a board in Clay Township that had their heads up their ass. And they got rid of the police chief, Carl Trombley. And the people came to him and said, hey, you made a mistake. You need to get the guy back on the job. And they had their heads up their ass, and they didn't. And they recalled the whole board. And Carl Trombley came back to Clay Township. I believe it's May that you guys can all be recalled. I think there's some walkers here today. See you in May. Thank you.
My name is Lynn Lozon, 1910 South Channel. I don't usually get up and do this. I don't usually come to your meetings because I've always been happy with Clay Township. But I have to say I'm so disappointed in what happened with Daryl. But what I'm asking you, these people have all expressed their love and devotion to him. I'm asking you, because you're voted in from these people, obviously these people are not happy with this decision. Please swallow your pride. Unless he's done something criminal, then prosecute. It will be behind you. But if he hasn't, if it's political, if it's something that whatever, if he didn't do something illegal, please swallow your pride and listen to the people. That's all I say. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ron D'Angelo, 8312 Mayberry, live down in the flat. All I can say is that I've known Daryl, his dad, his grandpa, for the most part of my 68 years. And you look up dependable, it's anonymous, but the word DuPage. I sleep really good at night knowing Daryl was on watch. I just want you to know that.
I had like 30 seconds left, I thought.
28 seconds.
Pat Marlowe again. You know, I was just, and I'm not really sure of the inner workings of the township. And, I read something in the paper that mentioned about Daryl getting let go, and it said that you made a comment already that he was great at putting out fires, but there's more to being a firefighter than putting out fires. So short of what people have talked about criminal, it's administrative. It's paperwork. I'm not sure, but I think the Police chief has a secretary, male or female. I think the supervisor has a secretary, male or female, I'm not sure. Clerks, I mean, there's a lot of office people in the office. What does Daryl have for administrative secretary, male or female? And if that's the case, is that what we need? I mean, is that what it's all about? Is it about that extra cost? Because it is about putting out the fires. It really is. Life is about putting out fires, whether it's a house fire or this fire or that fire. And if it's not just putting out the fires that you mentioned, you know, and that's where we're looking for the transparency. So.
Good evening. Everyone probably knows who I am, Connie Turner. I live 9576 Swartout Road. I've been behind that desk 20 years until 4 years ago when I retired. I have worked with our former chief and with Daryl all of that time. And if there was ever an administrative problem of any kind, we sit down and talked about it and figured it out the way that it should be done properly. And if that hasn't happened, I mean, nobody's perfect. You make mistakes. But you sit down and try to work it out with them. And if you haven't done that, then shame on you. And I think it's deplorable the way it seems that you have treated our chief, who is so well-loved and liked in this township. And I think you should reconsider, sit down, find out what the problems is, bring these new people up to date on everything, and do it as a whole, and listen to what everyone says. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to make one more comment. I think Daryl was fired for something he didn't do, but for something he wouldn't do. You want to take that?
Rob Sampier, 2412 Fruit Road. Artie, I just want to say, my heart bleeds for the man you fired. I've been down his tracks before. I know, on hand. And I also want to say I support him 110%, and I am proud to say I did not support you in that election.
Thank you. Any other public comments?
When can we get some public answers?
Nobody else? Okay.
Public answers, that's what we want.
Moving right along, I'll close public comments out. Consent agenda. Entertain a motion about the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda consisting of the board meeting minutes of December 5th and synopsis, the November reports for assessing, building, zoning, and code enforcement, Parks and Rec, and police stats. There is no notices, no communication, no requests at this time.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion or anything want to be pulled out? Hearing none. All in favor of the consent, do we have support? Yeah. All in favor of the consent agenda, please signify by saying yes or aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Supervisors report. I'm going to take a cough drop here to get me through this. Starting January 1, the police department, we're going to have one of our own serving on the county drug task force. And I'm hopeful in a few months down the road, we'll start seeing results as far as more action down South Water. And we did have a meeting with the Sheriff's Department to iron out the details, how that's going to work going forward. So I'm actually excited about that. We did have an accident at the fire department Saturday. I believe it was Saturday. They're responding to a mutual aid call in New Baltimore, and the damage was to the tower truck and the Mainland station, the garage door. One person was backing up the truck while the garage door was automatically being lowered, and right now the garage door will not open or shut. And I believe the tower truck, the bucket's not working. I know we have to get some repairs done on that. We have people coming tomorrow to assess it and see what we can do about it. It will probably end up being an insurance claim. So just want to let the board know about that. I had a very encouraging meeting with Jeff Friedland this past Tuesday. He's the county emergency manager, and we'll be working with him, our police department and fire department, in putting together a community emergency readiness plan. And actually, we'll be looking for volunteers to help organize when, say, if there's a catastrophic emergency, to man warming centers or shelters. And we also talked about 2 or 3 other programs which we'll be maybe doing to help out our dispatch center and provide free training for us and possible grants down the road. So I was very encouraged about that. Just received some bad news actually from the County Road Commission. They will not be paving Swartout between Morrow and Starville this next year, basically due to budgetary restraints. They tell me they're going to do it in 2018 at the same time when they're going to fix the northern part of Marsh Road. Now, as everyone knows or doesn't know, in my opinion, Swartout's the worst road in our township, and it is a county primary road. It's their responsibility to maintain and fix. They did do between McKinley and Morrow Road about a year ago and didn't do the rest. I think it's about 0.9 miles. So unfortunately, that will not be done till 2018. Bids are going out on the Merrill Street Bridge project. That's down by Sassy Marine. And the construction will start this spring. I had them make it a part of the bidding that the construction has to be finished by the end of June. I don't want to see that project going into the summer months in July. But if you recall, that's probably an $850,000 project, and thank God with grants that we received through the federal, state, and county levels, it'll probably only cost the township somewhere around $3,000. We decided to put new lights on the Colony Tower to re-lamp them with LEDs, and which was done a couple weeks ago. But I got a call from the owner of Phillips Sign. He didn't like how it looked. So he's actually redoing the job, putting different fixtures in there, and he's doing it at no cost to the township, at their cost. So kudos for Ed and Phillips Sign. I'm not sure if that's quite done. I know they're either going to do it this weekend or sometime this week. Been getting a lot of complaints about our garbage pickup, and I'm totally not happy with them, especially on the island. We probably, I know there's some people that haven't had their garbage picked up in 3 weeks. They had a change in some management here at the local, whatever they call their yard. But I'm getting ready to fire off an email to the president of the company and the assistant, the president and the general manager, that there has to be some changes made. And quiet, please. There has to be some changes made, and in my mind, they're not fulfilling their contract, and we may be seeking, if changes aren't made, we'll be seeking possibly cancellation of the contract going forward. I think they have about 3 or 4 years on that contract. I'm not happy with the service. I get more phone calls about poor garbage service than anything else, trying to fix them. And I want to let everyone else know too, we're not selling dog licenses here at the township. We have in the past. The county didn't give us any dog licenses to sell. The city of Elginak is selling them. I'm not sure how many more they have left. We've been sending all our people down that way. So if you're in need for a dog license, you'll have to go to the city of Elginak. And I believe you can buy them or get them on the county website. Is that true? That's true. Also, the draft of the 2017-2021 Clay Township Recreation Plan is available. It's on our website, claytownship.org, to view. It can also be viewed at the Township Hall, the library, the Clay Elginak Library, and at Reader's Cove on the island. Planning Commission is holding a public hearing on the plan at its regular meeting Wednesday, January 11th at 7 o'clock here in this room. So if anyone wants any input to that, to the county or the Township Parks and Rec, that would be the place to do it. We have had a couple meetings where we invited stakeholders, and we got a lot of great input on that, and actually made a lot of strides with our Parks and Rec since then. Downtown Goodfellas are out right now actually delivering Christmas packages tonight. They are servicing 121 families. That's where the interim chief is right now, Jerry Doan. He's in charge of the Downriver Goodfellows, and he's overseeing that right now. I believe they're spending between $25,000 and $30,000 that and plus other donations that was made for these families, so that's a great cause. Let's see, we do have some upcoming events. The second Thursday of the month, we have a leisure and activity club at the Elginak High School. That's a program we put together geared for special needs adults. And it is the second Thursday of the month from 6 to 10. And it's been well attended, and it's turning into be a great event. And there's a $3 charge, but they do all kinds of board games and activities, and it's a great socializing activity for people. Our consumer education series continues. Third Wednesday of the month, January 18th, we're having it here in home care and senior resident scams, and February 15th, investment fraud. So that's the last two of the series. That's put on at no cost by the Attorney General's office. January 7th, we're starting a Eat Healthy, Be Active group club. That's a Saturday at 9:30 a.m. and the Township Hall is going to go for 6 weeks, and that is also free. We're starting Clay Township Youth Tennis League, ages from 5 to 5th grade. And the cost is $95 to sign up. And that includes tennis racket and balls that they take with them. And it starts January 11th and it runs through February 15th. And it's put on by the U.S. Tennis Association. We're in the process of working on a bunch of other events, some taking place on the island, in the schools and other places. Future programs consisting of pickleball. We're looking at cooking classes being held at the Schoolhouse Grill, working with MSU Extension 4-H clubs, doing day camps, and also working with the DNR on programs. We're looking at doing a couple painting classes, a builder's camp for kids, looking for instructors for fitness in the park and also on waterways for doing some stand-up paddle boarding right now. So we're going to have a lot more stuff coming down the pipe. Just want to let everyone know that. That's all I have right now. Nothing under unfinished business. For new business, we have Resolution 2016-42, Board of Review compensation.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 2016-42, the Board of Review compensation. Basically, it's the same, just defines what our session is to be 6 hours.
And if they work a half day, they're going to get paid half the.
Yes.
Is that consistent with last year's?
Is it, I'll second your motion.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, but they've previously been paid $100 per session. We just never had it defined what a session was.
Okay.
So we have motion and support. Any other questions or discussion?
I'm here.
Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Tom Kruger.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Sandy Kufelt. Yes. Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, I'm recommending a reappointment of Mary Knotts, James Miller, and Bev Rose to the Board of Reviews. In their letter is, in here is their letter of them wanting to be reappointed.
That's Mary Knott, Jim Miller, and Bev Rose.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to appoint the Board of Review members, Mary Knott, Jim Miller, and Bev Rose for 2017 and 2018.
I guess my only concern, we have an alternate.
Yeah.
How long is the appointment for, 2 years?
Yeah, we appointed the alternate not too long ago, a couple meetings ago.
Did we get letters from both of them if they want to?
Yeah.
I'd just like to see our alternate get some experience while we have some knowledgeable people.
Well, it's up to them, the board.
Use Mary.
This here.
Is Deborah Addy a part of
Yeah,
Board of Review?
Yes. Yeah, we appointed her,
As an
Just
alternate.
not, last,
Permanent or an
Last meeting
alternate?
as an alternate
she's an alternate.
well, they can appoint whoever they want as the alternate.
Oh, okay.
amongst the four of them?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay. And we will be, do I have motion and second yet?
I think you have a
I
motion.
made the motion.
I'll support.
Okay, we have motion and second. I will be looking for a second alternate. And just because I was told that Mr. Miller and Mary this will probably be their last term, so I'd like to get some people to, or somebody, another alternate, just to get experience and some training before they do leave in 2 years. So I will be looking for another alternate, preferably someone from the mainland, preferably a male, since we do have 3 women on the board right now. Preferably.
It's really good.
So, do we have any more discussion?
No discussion.
No discussion?
No discussion.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, next we have accept the letter of resignation on Daryl DuPage. And I met with Daryl. Daryl was offered a separation of employment agreement in exchange for his resignation on 12/12/16. He has 21 days to accept it. He has not accepted the agreement, but he has turned in the keys, his keys that he had, the Township vehicle, Tango it's called, his credit card, along with ID cards, helmet, his badge, pager, and radio. He still does have some equipment in his possession, but at this time we have not received any notice from Daryl what he plans on doing. He does have 21 days to respond. So at this time, I would suggest that this board would take no action at this time until we gives them the 21 days to respond. Okay?
Do you want that in the form of a motion?
No.
It doesn't have to be.
Just follow the process.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to appoint Jerry Doan as the interim fire chief.
Why would he be assistant chief for 16 years?
Support.
We have motion support. This is our board to deliberate right now. This is the deliberation with the board right now.
Well, I was trying to find out when we could do that, but you didn't have an answer.
We have motion and support. Any discussion?
So effectively, right now, we don't have a fire chief until we appoint him.
Right.
Okay, well, we need a fire chief.
Right.
Thank you.
How can you be a full-time employee with two departments? It's double dipping your citizens that are paying taxes.
Order, please. Okay, we have motion and support. Any more, no more discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Nay. Those records say Tom opposed. All right, next on the agenda, fire department to approve the purchase of pagers from the county. Mike, you want to give a little history on this? We do have two proposals for a single band and dual band pagers.
It's something that we've been working on through St. Clair County Central Dispatch and St. Clair County. The problem came in when they started realizing that the infrastructure for their VHF paging system was getting degraded to the point where it was beyond repair. They ended up, in turn, putting together a advisory board on this, coming up with numbers and some ideas and what to do to go forward. Well, us being the second PSAP in the county, we were asked to sit with this board. At the end of the day, what we ended up coming up with is between all the fire chiefs in the county, dispatches in the county, the determination was made to go forward towards the 800 megahertz pagers instead of fixing the current VHF infrastructure, which would have been almost triple the cost. With that being said, the county is going to be pretty much flipping about half the bill towards these new pagers. So the recommendations was pretty much across the board to go with the 800 megahertz pagers, which is adaptable to both central dispatch system as well as ours.
Okay. And it was told to me that we should go with the single band instead of the multi-band.
As far as that goes, that's going to be up to the fire chief. I think that's the way the fire chief is talking he wants to go. As far as we go, I mean, there's no difference as far as our dispatch. We can support both. However, if our infrastructure there goes down, we'd probably be in the same boat as the county.
Right.
But at this time, we can support either.
So we're lacking a little backup.
Excuse
Is that
me?
what I'm hearing? We're all lacking some backup in case your system goes down?
Right now, we have a redundancy to our current 800 megahertz system. We're currently tied directly into the state. If that goes in, then it goes to a local, right off our building here, which it would come out from local antennas. If that were to go down, then we would still have the option of the VHF system.
Okay.
But like I say, the only thing there is, in the future, I don't know if there would be, if we'd be able to replace what's there, but you'd still have redundancy and backup to the backup. So as far as it goes with us, I mean, we don't use the pagers. Kind of need to rely on the fire department as far as that determination.
We do have 45 pagers. And the single band, basically the township would agree to pay $260.66 per pager. And they're giving us 3 years to do that, to pay for it. I think with my math was right, the total cost would be $11,729 over the 3 years. It's $4,275 cheaper to go with the single band versus the dual band. And so it was recommended to me that we could do this with the single band. I need board authorization to go ahead and do this.
The question here in this, if the Homeland Security funding is not approved by the state, then the township's cost of the pagers would increase.
Mhm.
So we don't know that, but right now, it's $260.
Right.
But it could be more.
It could be more.
With no recourse for us to.
No. And I'm told the existing equipment, we can sell them on the open market. And what did we find out? We could almost get our money back, or I don't know, I think we can probably sell them for around $200, which we will try to do. So there is some costs that we can recoup selling with our old equipment.
Are we to determine which one, or are we going for the proposal of the 11,000?
Yeah, I would say
Are we aware of how many other fire departments in the county have switched to this system, to the 800 megahertz system?
Just about all of them.
Just about all of them?
There's no choice in it. Everybody has to go to it. Like I said, what's happened is the county's infrastructure, they had 2 ways to go. It was either to upgrade the VHF, which is pretty much a dying breed out there, or go with the 800 megahertz, which is pretty much the standard across the board now. That's why a determination was made, go towards the future, go with the 800 megahertz pagers. I know we did have some of them down here. They were tested out down here, and that seemed to be no problems with them.
Thanks for the clarification.
Mike, do you have any idea what the other fire departments are ordering? I mean, is that standard for them to order single band or standard dual band?
I think it's preference and what they want to go with. I don't know. I'm not sure. I have a meeting tomorrow up there to talk about it, but don't know as far as that goes, what the other ones are doing. I know that that Chief DuPage, when he was still there, he wanted to go with the dual band on them. But as far as what everyone else is going, I believe Iowa Township's going with the dual band. As far as the other departments, that I'm not sure of. But the option is there on the table, so.
Gotcha.
How critical is this to put in place immediately or tomorrow, next week, whenever we get them?
I think the county needs to know by January 5th.
Yeah, January 5th, I have to give them an answer.
Like January 5th, you said?
Yes. It's in the email in the back of the,
This is also financed over 3 years with the county at no interest, correct?
right.
Correct.
Well, I
And
can't say.
reliability is up in the 100% range?
Pretty much the reliability is the same as what you're getting with our car radios now, our prep radios. Pretty much same thing. Like I say, they were tested down here. I didn't get any negative reports on them at all. I haven't heard any other negative reports throughout the county. It seems like they've been working pretty well. They've been testing them now for several months, so.
Okay.
On a single bed?
Yeah, single band.
Single bed.
I'll make a motion to approve the pagers in an amount up to $15,329.70 to be financed with the county over a span of 3 years unless the township deems to pay it off sooner, and leave that decision to the interim fire chief as to which pagers to order, because I can't say that I'm qualified to make that decision.
I'll support that.
Okay, we have motion and support. Did you guys hear that? Any more discussion?
So to reiterate, we're setting the budget for the 2-band pagers, the dual-band pagers? And we're
Correct.
going to allow,
Yep, I calculated it at the dual band pager rate.
15,329.
Right. I just don't feel qualified to decide which radio or which paging system they should have.
yeah, my support.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Joanne Shirkey.
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Sandy Kufelt. Yes. Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Tom Kruger.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we wanted to get a cleaning company. Right now, we have someone private clean our offices, but there's no liability insurance or anything on that, and it could pose a problem if there was something that happened on site with her. We did go out and get quotes for a professional cleaning company. This one was the lowest of them, and it is $400 a month. It is a contract, so I'm bringing it before the board to prove that we enter into this.
This does have a 90-day, correct, evaluation
Yeah.
period, so they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
So it's just a
we're not-
monthly thing?
Correct.
Right.
Did they stipulate how many cleaning personnel will be on site at any one time?
One, and they did provide identification for him. We did do our due diligence with running a background check on him, which turned out no concerns.
And he'll be here one time a week?
Yes.
Right.
For
Friday
8
or
hours
Saturday.
or any set hours?
I think we'd have to meet with him and arrange that.
What about any,
We're
what about
shooting
any
for-
emergency cleanups?
I'm sorry,
What about any emergency cleanups? Say you have an emergency of,
That would be something to be contracted out
Somebody-
outside of this. Yeah.
okay,
I see what you're saying. That'd be on us. We'll call you.
there you go.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we approve Camelot cleaning on a monthly basis and along with a probationary period to see what they're doing.
90 days.
90 days.
Did you hear that?
I did.
Okay. We have motion
Support.
and support. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Joanne Shirkey?
Yes.
Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Sandy Kufal?
Yes.
Chris O'Regan?
Yes.
Tom Kruger?
Yes.
Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes.
Okay, that's it under new business. Board member comments. Sandy, you got yours? Do you have anything for us?
I have none.
No? Okay. How about you, Chris?
I have no comments at this time.
Okay. Tom?
Yeah, I got some comments. Regarding the dismissal of Chief DuPage, as you may or may not know, I've been off with a knee replacement lately. Yeah. But anyway, I don't go anywhere. I'm at home all the time. And I never got a phone call, not anything asking me my opinion or what I think about letting Chief DuPage go. And I don't understand why. I think I could have had some genuine constructive input into the process. And I'll tell you, I'm not pleased with the way it happened and the way it went down. I've got 4 years' experience on this board, on and off. 6 years as supervisor, I've been a treasurer, been a trustee, I've been on various boards and commissions, and never once was I asked my opinion or brought into the loop about Daryl's dismissal. I don't know what happened. I talked to Daryl twice. Frankly, he doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know what he did or what the reason is. Now, that's just his opinion, what he told me. But I guess I think we should have had a little bit more talk, a little bit more cohesiveness amongst the board before we did such a thing. And that's my opinion. I don't know what happened. I don't know whether Artie and Cindy and the trustee down there, the fire commissioner.
Fire commissioner.
Aren't you the fire commissioner? No.
You'll get your letter December 23rd.
Well, anyway, I don't know what transpired, but I encourage all of you, if you feel the same way I did about this, take whatever action you feel necessary and support Daryl as best you can. I'm not. If somebody, I've had problems with Daryl in the past. Okay, not problems really, differences of opinion. I thought he should have went this way, he went that way. I thought he should have done this, he did that. And, we've talked about it, et cetera and so forth. But all in all, I always thought that he was a good fire chief. And I believe he deserves our respect and a chance to straighten out whatever kind of disagreement or misunderstanding or situation that transpired to cause, his dismissal. I don't know what it was. I wasn't brought into the loop, which is something I don't understand. After 24 years of doing this, you'd think they would have asked me, Tom, what's your opinion?
Tom, I'd like to point out that Artie Bryson on video, or on audio recording in our meeting, made a comment that he would like if you could try to get rid of you as well.
Oh, no way.
Well, I don't know about get rid of me, but, I don't know, maybe some people on this board don't think that I have relationships with other people in this township. But after that meeting, my phone rang off the hook. I know what transpired. I know what Artie said about me. I never go there. It's a reflection of the quality of the person as to what they say about other people. There isn't much I can do, but I think whatever you folks feel is necessary, I encourage you to follow it through and do what you can for Daryl. I personally think he got railroaded a little bit.
Mark? You know, this town, this is board member comments, please. Mark, do you have any comments?
A question was directed to me earlier if I knew anything about or was involved in it. Like Tom, I did not, okay? So, and I'm only speaking for myself. I don't know about the other new 2 trustees that are here. However, I agree that things could have been handled differently. And I agree with Tom on some of the progressive discipline that could have taken place. That's all I have to say.
The only comment I have to make is that I've been moved to the ZBA as a member now, and that I think we're meeting on, from what I understand, on Wednesdays, the 3rd Wednesday of the month at 7 o'clock, beginning in January. It used to be on Thursdays, whenever there was someone that was looking to get a variance. And
Yeah,
so
ZBA decided to move it
Yeah.
on Wednesday.
But I would wonder if there's some conflicts with that or not. I don't know.
I don't know, we'll have to work it out.
Yeah, okay. I have no comment on this at this time.
Cindy?
No comments.
Okay. I don't have any comments at this time either. Looking for a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
Second.
Support.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thank you for coming.
Clip, you guys, give me a little clip.
I got my own.